Hi, this is a video for Mining Journal. I'm here with Peter George, who's the managing director of Alicanto Minerals, which is an ASX-listed junior with a portfolio of past-producing assets in Sweden. Hi, Peter. How are things?
Great, Tom. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad at all. Thank you very much. So yeah, Peter and I last spoke in May when the company put out a game-changing intercept as it worked towards a maiden resource at its Sala zinc silver project. Last week, the company unveiled the maiden resource. Peter, if you'd like to kick things off by giving us an overview of the numbers, please.
Yeah, look, fantastic effort by the boys on the ground to get a 10 million tonne resource together in a little over 12 months has been an amazing achievement in my eyes. There's not too many of those sorts of things around the world that are achieved in those sorts of timeframes and at those sorts of grades. A 4.5% zinc equivalent is a really amazing effort, to be honest. And when we increase the cutoff grade as well, we come up with about 4.5 million tonnes at a 6% zinc equivalent, and a very contiguous mineralization as well, which bodes well for potential mining in the future.
Okay, and just put it into context for us, if you would. How does it compare to other assets in the region?
Yeah, well, it's a very important asset now. All of a sudden, we've now got the largest active undeveloped zinc, silver, lead deposit within Sweden, which makes it a very important asset, both within Sweden but within Europe as well, especially given that Sweden is, if not the largest, comes a very close second to Russia as far as zinc production within Europe. And I think now that obviously with Russia invading Ukraine and the problems that's now caused with regards to their supply, it pushes the importance of Swedish zinc right up to number one. So we're very excited to have something that everybody's going to want to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for those viewers that aren't abreast of what's been happening in Sweden, there's been a real push for the country to be a leader on the kind of green industrial revolution side. Green steel has been a major focus for the government with its H2 green steel and hybrid projects. And there's a real focus on mining as well. Can you talk about how that has benefited Alicanto?
Yeah, well, look, I've been over in Sweden for the last month and a half. I've got another week to go, but we've been very, very busy over here. Firstly, obviously with our with the release of our maiden resource, but also meeting with government and stakeholders over here. And as you alluded to, there's just been a serious push from government to overturn probably 40 years of underinvestment in exploration and mining. And I guess us coming out with the largest undeveloped zinc deposit in Sweden is probably symptomatic of that underinvestment. And we've proven what's actually possible. But I think I went to the Join Sweden Summit and the Almedalen Summit a couple of weeks ago, and having discussions with quite a number of people. And you mentioned the LKAB, and I had a very good chat with Karl-Petter Thorwaldsson, who's the resources minister for Sweden, and he was very encouraged by what we'd actually achieved at Sala, and said, look, you don't be frightened of the green industrial revolution. And I think, what do you mean by that? He said, well, LKAB is pushing very hard with their green steel, and what people around the world don't understand is that Sweden is already at 98% fossil fuel free electricity supply, and within a few years is going to be at 100%, and then within a few years after that is pushing for 100% renewables. And then when I was listening to a number of other conversations with the likes of, presentations for the likes of the CEOs from Mercedes and from Volvo, and they basically said that if you are not prepared as a supplier to supply them with green metals or green products, then they won't be buying from you. So, just following on from that conversation with Torvald's son, he basically said, look, LKB is looking to be getting a 20% plus premium for their product, which, is the whole, it's a major driver in the economics for how we get these projects up and running. And once you sort of listen to those conversations, the penny really dropped for me about how well, Sweden is actually really is leading this green industrial revolution as we go forward, and companies such as Volvo and Mercedes, I think by 2035 or might even be early, that they are not going to be producing any combustion vehicles any longer, and the whole conversation is about every single piece of the value chain needs to be green. And I don't think that they can go back from that decision at this point in time. I think it would be political suicide for everybody. So, it's really been an eye opener for me over the last 6 weeks as to where Sweden and Europe and then the rest of the world is just going to have to follow.
Yeah, it definitely stands out as a kind of good news story in an otherwise, pretty difficult time for for business in general. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's talk a little bit about what else we can expect to see from you guys over the course of the year.
Yeah, look, so we're still very busy. We've got 2 drill rigs spinning at the moment. I'm expecting some very good results to come through in the near future, and we've got plans to double this resource as quickly as we possibly can. In my eyes, I'd like to see Sala as a standalone operation, and I think that sort of hurdle rate of 15 to 20 million tons is, where I would like to see it be at the very least. But we see the system that the Sala system itself is potentially huge. And it's 50 kilometres down the road from the Garpenberg mine, which is heading up towards a 200 million ton system now. Very similar grades to what we have at Sala. In fact, the geology is almost the same. So look, a very busy time for us coming up over the next 6 to 12 months.
Absolutely. All right. Well, yeah, wish you all the best with that. That's all we have time for today. So I'd just like to thank you very much, Peter, for joining us.
Oh, thanks for your time, Tom.
No problem at all. And that concludes this video for Mining Journal. Goodbye.